Episode 133, Side B. This is a live show that Paul and I do every single Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, right here on twitch.tv/awesomehardware. We also stream the show to our respective YouTube channels. We break the entire episode into two halves. This week, the first half was on Paul's channel, which has just happened, so you can go ahead and check that out in the description below, or you can go to youtube.com/paulshardware if you want to check that out. Side B is going to be on my channel, of course, right here on Bitwit, so thank you very much to all of you who have just tuned in, and those of you who have stuck around since Side A. We have a lovely half of the show planned for you guys today, and Paul's going to eat a bunch of popcorn while I talk about tech news. It's going to be exciting. You'll have never seen anything like it. Your life will be forever changed.
It's really good popcorn.
And it's really good. It is really good popcorn. Today's show is brought to you by Vermont Beer. We have lots of beer from Vermont.
And cider.
And cider. And cider, it's not beer. Cider has its own thing. So cheers to all of you who are drinking at home.
Cheers.
If you're of legal drinking age, we're happy to have you along drinking with us. This is a show where we often swear or use adult language, so if you have little ones around, be sure to suffocate them with sand or something. Because sand isn't really a super precious resource right now. We have an abundance of it.
It's a cost-effective.
Very cost-effective way to suffocate the little ones. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We sell things on our stores which you can buy objects off of in order to support us. For example, on my store, bitwit.tech/store, we have new things, including some awesome hardware merch.
Use offer code over50 to save 10% on orders of $50 or more.
Yes.
Or over 100 to save 20% on orders of over $100.
20% or more, guys. So take advantage of these holiday deals that we have going on.
The new Star Wars
Awesome
design.
Hardware Star Wars shirt is beautiful. This is a design by our very own Brian Maroxit.
First shirt to feature Nori and Hero on it.
I think he did a great job with.
I still want to pick. I kind of want one with just Nori
them.
and Hero.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I might set that up.
It's pretty adorable. Also, we have new mugs.
These new mugs. They're full color mugs.
Yes, the mugs are super nice quality. We actually have some in stock right here in the studio. The CPU cooler and the BIOS flasher. The BIOS flasher mug looks to be just one giant design that goes across the whole thing, whereas the CPU cooler is on both sides.
Yeah, both
Get
sides.
one on either side. It's got a black handle, white mug. Paul also has the Zero Insertion Force, which looks awesome. Guys, buy things. Buy things from our stores. It's a great way for you to get awesome stuff while at the same time supporting us so that we have more money to pour back into the channel, buying bigger and better products.
I don't know if this one is even for sale anywhere. Do you guys want to beware of bottlenecks?
Yeah, I don't think it is on sale. I think that was just a sample that we were sent by our merch guy. But I personally like it. You guys let us know what you think. And Paul's store is paulshardware.net. I should also mention we're both selling mouse pads.
Oh yeah, mouse pads now.
We're both selling mouse pads. This is the shorter, smaller. This is the short but like fatter one. This is the chode version. And there's also like a long Ding Dong King Kong version that spans the entire width of your desk, or so you can fit your keyboard on top of it and stuff. They actually look really clean, super clean, high quality, stitched edging, which does not seem very frayable. It's very nice rubber backing, and the print job is fantastic. Oh my god! Oh, so good. Oh yeah, you you just railed that mouse pad. You railed it hard. So guys, buy stuff.
Right
this is how Paul and I are able to afford crazy things like the pair of 2 terabyte 960 Pros, NVMe SSDs that I just put in the Elite build that were what, $1,300 a piece. That's because you guys have been buying lots of stuff from our merch stores.
I just got an invitation to be a Twitch affiliate.
Did you really?
Awesome Hardware just got invited to be a Twitch affiliate.
This is not the same as a partner?
It's an affiliate.
Is it okay? Is that the same as being a Twitch partner?
I think this is automated. You needed at least 500 total minutes broadcast in the last 30 days, at least 7 unique broadcasts in the last 30 days, an average of 3 concurrent viewers or more over the last 30 days, and at least 50 followers.
That's hilarious.
I'm excited, guys. We are taking the next step. Twitch affiliate.
I don't know what that means. Is it the same as partner?
It means we're affiliates. It's not like we're dating. It's not like we're going out.
So it's like it's complicated
It's
type
like
of
you're
thing?
seeing each other from time to time. But like if you were to hook up with someone else, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. That's kind of what.
Oh, that's a weird relationship term to use though for people though. Like, hey, how are things going with you and Amy? We're affiliated.
Well, you know,
The fuck does that mean?
when you're like Twitch,
We use adult
and
language
you've got
sometimes.
that many people who you deal with, you know, in that way, you've got to, you know, you got to introduce the legalities to it to some degree.
I suppose.
They got a legal team.
What this means potentially, guys, is that if Paul and I get
Yeah, we can
partnered
get emotes.
or affiliated soon, then who knows? We might be able to actually give you guys some like quality options when you're watching our stream.
That would be nice.
That would be nice for you guys and for us because a lot of you are like, hey, I can't. There's too much, whatever. So there's other benefits that come along with being a Twitch partner for sure. And it's just really because Paul and I are both lazy individuals. Why we haven't
if there's any
handled that yet.
coincidence to that coming in
Right after
while we're streaming.
Yeah. But, I mean, damn good on them for having an algorithm that can automatically detect, like, these people are streaming, they get lots of views, and they're still not partnered or affiliated. We should send them an email. So, good on you, Twitch. You guys are right on the money with that.
We love you, Twitch.
But, thank you guys so much again for watching and tuning in. Let's go ahead and dive into some tech news. Wait!
No.
I have a quick little announcement.
We have two announcements.
Two announcements. So there's still a giveaway going on for a full-blown gaming PC.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So we did a huge charity live stream on last Saturday, and we raised over $10,000 through Extra Life
awesome.
for the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. You guys helped raise over 10 grand, which is absolutely insane. Last year we hit about 3,000, I think, and we've nearly tripled that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
more than tripled it. It's insane. So thank you guys.
Children's Hospital of Los Angeles
And
was
because
the
of
beneficiary.
that, yes, and because of that, we are doing an epic giveaway. We already gave away the first system on stream. That's already done and gone with. I've been in contact with the winner for that, but there's still an entry level, in quotes, Threadripper PC that's still super high end GTX 1070
It's
Ti.
about a $1,850 to $1,900
Super nice
system.
Yes, and we'll be announcing the winner for that when? Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday is when it's
Sunday.
open till. So you guys have another 4 days or so to enter this.
Yes.
The link is on my half. If you go to my half, the
Go to
link
Paul's
is in
channel.
the description. You need to click the link to go over to the Extra Life page in order to enter on the Gleam.io entry.
Yes.
You don't have to donate to the Extra Life charity fundraising thing that we
It's not
did,
a raffle.
but you can if you want. This number could still go
Highly
up even
encouraged.
further if you want to.
Yep.
Other than that, though, just feel free to enter, and it is only open to North America, U.S., Canada, and Mexico, though. So sorry to international people. It's very challenging for us to ship internationally, especially something like a full-blown computer.
Yeah, but there will be more international giveaways coming soon and stuff too from either of our channels.
Speaking of giveaway,
We've also got a case giveaway, a Be Quiet sponsored case giveaway on my channel. This was actually announced about a week ago. You guys can win either a Dark Base 700 or Dark Base Pro 900, both of which are freakishly amazing cases. I think Dimitri from Hardware Connects gave the Dark Base Pro 900 Case of the Year award last year for 2016.
last year, yeah.
And I totally stand by that. So these are both fantastic cases. The Dark Base 700 is more recent. It came out like earlier this month or last month, and it's got USB Type-C on the front panel. It's a great case all around. I did a review on it. You can check that out. So guys, if you're interested in a new case, or if you're just looking to build a new system and you're not exactly sure where to start, or you'd like a free case, just in general, go ahead and sign up for that. So those are the only few announcements that we have here, but let's dive into some tech news. We got a lot to talk about, starting with VESA. VESA and their announcement that they're going to be implementing a new DisplayHDR specification just in order to make the displays more consistent with consumer expectations and things like that. This is an article from The Verge. VESA is the standards organization for displays. Most of you are probably aware or familiar with their VESA mounting system that we see on the back of TVs and monitors and things like that, a VESA mount, which I am just sure a lot of people out there have heard of VESA mount, but didn't know that VESA is actually an organization that handles a lot of the spec and the specifications. Standards, all the standards for these panels as well, not just the mounting mechanism per se, but they do a lot of good work over there at VESA. The organization is now trying to make HDR hardware, including TVs, panels, monitors, and stuff like that, more consistent with its new certified display HDR standards. And this is going to help consumers know kind of what they're getting when they buy a product with a Display HDR certification badge, which kind of looks exactly like what Paul's showing up there. It's being split into several tiers. 3 tiers to start. There will definitely be more tiers that come later as the technology advances and so forth. But right now we've got Display HDR 400, 600, and 1000. All 3 levels are required to support the Open HDR 10 spec or standard in order to receive the certification, but the similarities kind of seem to end there. In order to hit the Display HDR 400 standard, a display only needs to offer global dimming and reach a peak luminance of 400 candela per meter squared, or CD/M squared, which is a sort of a metric that you guys see often. It's basically a standard unit of luminance, of brightness, or etc. AKA, this is sort of like, if you see Display HDR 400, it's basically the bare minimum of what an HDR recipient would benefit from. So it's the bare minimum. It just gets you barely in the door to HDR exposure, but it's not super high end or anything. Display HDR 600 bumps that requirement up ever so slightly to a peak luminance of 600 CD/M squared. 10-bit image processing, that's actually pretty huge, and specifies a lower minimum black level and higher color gamuts, of course. And then finally, you've got the top end for now. Display HDR 1000 takes that to an even higher 1000 CD/M squared and local dimming. So I guess what I'm saying is we might actually be able to check out some of these certified Display HDR monitors and panels perhaps at CES. Would be kind of cool to actually see those put into play and kind of see what they look like. I would love to actually see the same image on a 400, 600, and 1000 Display HDR panel.
Should do like
sort of see the difference.
The Pepsi challenge there and see if you can tell.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think that'd be a really interesting sort of content piece. But that's what's happening on the VESA end, because HDR, HDR 10, it's I think a standard like this needs to happen because HDR can be plastered pretty much on any product, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting the same benefit or the same experience or same image quality across all those devices. You could have HDR on one and on one product and HDR on another, but they could be completely varying levels of quality and color gamut, to be honest. So there's really a huge need for a standardization for this newer technology that's starting to infiltrate all of our displays. So thanks, VESA, for making that happen. Next up, we've got an article from the Hacker News. I should mention the last one. Oh yeah, I did say the last one was from The Verge. This next article is from the hackernews.com.
Hacker News.
This is about an actual security researcher claiming to have found a built-in keylogger in several HP laptops. And it started off as a tweet, I guess just a tweet to his followers, then he went fully public with his findings, basically finding that the keylogger was found in several HP laptops that would essentially let hackers record your every keystroke and steal sensitive data, which is obviously bad. And this includes things like passwords, account info, credit card credentials. I mean, this is serious stuff, guys. If someone wanted to hack you and you've got an affected HP model laptop model that's that's prone to this vulnerability, it could be seriously bad news.
This has happened at least 2 times this year.
Yeah, from HP alone. It's kind of shitty. It's not the. This is by far.
That's why you should build your own computer.
Yeah, build your own computer. You'll have zero bloatware. Yep. And you won't have to deal with shit like this.
All you have to worry about is Microsoft spying on you.
Yeah, right. The ultimate bloatware, your operating system. The keylogger was found in the syntp.system file, which is a part of Synaptics touchpad driver.
Damn it, Synaptics.
We talked about Synaptics in Paul's half. Had nothing to do with this, but the Synaptics touchpad driver is apparently containing this system file that is basically a keylogger. And it ships with more than 460 HP laptop models. You probably have one of them.
That's a lot of them.
HP acknowledges that the keylogger exists, and they say that it's a debug trace which was accidentally left in What a clusterfuck of an accident that is. Oopsies. Sorry. Yeah, well, sorry doesn't cut it for everyone, especially those who have been hacked. But fortunately, the keylogger has been removed with a patch update. The driver update's been released for all the affected notebook models. You can visit the HP support website in order to first of all to see which notebook models have been affected, and then you can get the driver update from there as well. Like Paul just mentioned, this is not HP's first offense with a keylogger vulnerability. In May of this year, in fact, a built-in keylogger was found in an HP audio driver that was silently recording all of its users' keystrokes and storing them in a human-readable file.
So the story,
Joy. Oh,
the
joy.
story from the manufacturer side is these are software tools that they develop as the product is being developed.
Right.
Because they need to do troubleshooting, and they need to be able to track what happens. So if there is an error or a failure or something like that, they can look back and be like, all right, what caused this? And then, oops, like it just happened to have stayed in the software, and we didn't go and make an updated server, updated version that purged that or whatever. And it's up to you, dear viewers at home, to decide whether or not you believe them and their story. But I think we need to take a brief pause here to fully appreciate that Kyle,
Yeah.
as promised in my half of the show, is about to crack open
A heady topper.
the heady topper.
Not the heady and topper, I've learned today on stream, but just the heady topper. This is the Alchemist Vermont. And I like how just on the top here it says, drink from the can, drink from the can, drink from the can. They really just want you to drink from the can. They were saying, don't pour this into a nice fancy glass. Just drink it the way it's
Straight from
intended.
the can, that's what it's,
Straight from the can.
how it's built.
And I like what they say on the back in their little description here as well. It's not intended to be the biggest or most bitter. It's meant to give you wave after wave of hoppy goodness on your palate.
Ooh.
Tremendous amounts of American hops will creep up on you and leave you with a dense hoppy finish in your mouth. So drinkable, it's scary. All right.
I like that mental image of a bunch of American hops creeping up on me.
It's kind of terrifying, actually. But
Cheers.
cheers to you, Paul, and all of you at home watching. Thank
Indeed.
you very much, or at work, wherever. Let's give this a shot.
Still enjoying that cider.
Woo! That's good.
I believe wifey sauce is also going
Of
to,
course,
going
of
to
course,
take
you have
a
to.
Quick,
You just had to try it,
a
didn't
quick
you?
sample.
It's good.
Hey, no, come back. Come on, seriously, really?
Wow.
Come on,
Wow.
you're fired.
Just kidding. Ow, you punched me.
You walked into my fist.
All right.
This is how spouse abuse happens.
I'll just hang out over here while you guys fight.
It's not your fault, Paul. It's not your fault. Mommy and Daddy would never blame it on you.
I saw some meme the other day. It's like, you know, when you're over at your friend's house and their parents are yelling at them, and you're just, and you're
Just
just
like-
sitting there.
Cowering in the corner. Oh, it's too real.
It's been a while.
It's too real.
It was yesterday.
Well then, let's move on to our next story, which is regarding the worst PC case trends of 2017. This is actually on a YouTube video via Dimitri at Hardware Canucks, our good friend and pal and fellow YouTuber.
What is
He
this-
put together
What
a...
is this fancy intro he's got going on?
This
here?
is, just something he does in random videos. It's not even something like an intro that he does for all videos. It's just like, hey, I just decided to spend 5 hours on this one 5-second clip in my videos because I'm better than you.
It's crazy.
Yep. I hate you, Dimitri. Stop making us look bad with all your fancy fucking B-roll and shit. No, I love you. I love you so much. I love marry me. So he put together this worst PC case trends video of 2017, and who better to really comment on computer cases than Dimitri? I mean, he's been reviewing these things extensively for so long. I would regard him as one of the best PC case reviewers of all time in current existence. So I really took this video to heart and listened
Goat.
to everything he said. What?
Dimitri's a goat.
He's a goat? What's a goat?
Greatest of all time.
Greatest of all. Oh yeah. This is a nice, fun acronym I'll start using now. So this is just a brief rundown list. I suggest you still give him the view. Go ahead and check out the video. You can hear his sexy Russian accent. But we're gonna go down just a brief list of the things that he pointed out as being sort of not the greatest trends that we've seen with PC chassis this year. The first of which was a lack of USB Type-C integration. And I feel like this is a polarizing one because Type-C is awesome. It's reversible. It has a lot of functionality, and it's just a nice connection, especially when you open it up to like USB 3.1 Gen 2. You get some really nice speeds, 10 gigabits per second, and all that jazz. It's nice to have that on a front panel. At the same time, there are not many devices that use USB Type-C currently, let alone, USB Gen 2, 3.1 Gen 2.
Sure there are.
So I feel like, I mean, sure there are, but in the grand scheme of things, it seems like the people...
Let me just pick up your phone.
Okay. Okay.
Isn't that your phone? Is this your phone?
Single example does not make your argument
Let's
of
pick
an
up-
overwhelming
let's pick up my
number.
phone, which
It's
is already
the
over a
same
year old.
phone. It's the same-
No, mine's a Pixel XL. Yours
it's
is
the
a
same,
Pixel 2.
It's the same family, more or less. It's the same... Okay. I'm not one to knock USB Type-C, okay? I have a video that's already up on FLOATPLANE about a slew, an onslaught of USB Type-C devices. There's like 8 different products that I took a look at and actually sort of did mini reviews on. That's coming to the YouTube channel probably later this week.
So you just lied to everyone?
No, I didn't lie to everyone. I'm just saying it's like the knowledge, the information is still not out there as to how, how prevalent USB Type-C is. It's still a long ways off, to be honest. Okay, to be fair, it's still a long ways off from replacing micro USB as the number one USB interface. Like my mom, my parents, anyone in my family, all my friends, if I showed up to their house and said, hey, can you charge my phone? I guarantee you 0 of them would be able to help me. So
That's why you got the little adapter.
but that's why I have an adapter. That's why I have a micro USB to Type-C adapter keychain on my keys because...
Careful, you're peeking.
Sorry.
I mean in the audio.
I get super... I'm peaking on drugs. No, yeah, sorry, headphone users. But I'm just saying, lack of Type-C integration on cases is a polarizing matter, but I feel like it's a pretty loud minority that should still be heard and listened to. I would like to see more Type-C on cases. I think especially the ones that are being sold for over 120, 130, 150 bucks should definitely have Type-C. Just even if Type-C is not quite where micro USB is right now, it's still the future. And you're gonna have a computer case, ideally, for more than a year or two. So you're gonna wanna have that built-in functionality ready to go. Additionally, he brought up that a lot of cases this year were including cheap, generic, black fans that he's not been a fan of.
Black fans.
Even some having Molex connections, or cheap LEDs that just like right there that just don't look all that great. I would agree with that. What he said that really stuck with me is that he would like to see a no fan option for certain cases.
Yeah, I like that.
I
like that idea.
really like that idea. I think case manufacturers should take that comment to heart.
Especially with the super inexpensive cases, the fans are often a pretty significant part of the cost. If you're talking about a $40, $50 case that actually comes with 2 or 3 fans in it,
Yeah.
that's a pretty decent chunk of the cost. But beyond that, the higher end cases, like if you could shave 15 or 20 bucks off of the cost and give me it with no fans, because I know I'm gonna swap it out with the fans that I want to buy. They're 15 or 20 bucks each anyway. Then that would make a lot of sense, and I wouldn't end up with just a bunch of crappy.
But the thing is,
fans
like
on
they wouldn't be able to shave that much off. Like with the fans that they're using, they'd probably shave like $5 off.
5 or 10.
I would say
Okay.
I would say like $5 off, but still, I mean, it's still $5. Like for fans that you're never gonna use, that you're just like Paul said, you're gonna replace anyway. I would still like to see the no fan option, and also just based on the principle that it's not wasteful. Like I have so many case fans that I just uninstalled immediately off of my cases because I obviously replaced them with other better fans that are just kind of sitting there collecting dust. It's just a wasteful practice. It's just a bunch of cheap plastic just sitting there collecting dust that will never be used for their intended purpose. But moving on here, lack of interior variety. Basically, Dimitri was saying that there's sort of this one formula that every case manufacturer uses for their interior. You got your motherboard tray right there. You've got maybe some cable management with the power supply shroud, and your rubber grommets on the right and the top, etc. Maybe you got a drive bay on the right side towards the front of the case. Your mounting AIO mounts on the top. and so forth. And I kind of get that. It's also one of those things where I'm like, well, it doesn't really. It's not like it's not working out. It's not like I feel like anything's lacking in the interior department so much. Rather than I would like to see more innovation. Right? It's not like that it's bad. It's just that it's not innovative. So I think I think that a lot of case manufacturers this year played it safe. They weren't really trying bold, new, risky types of interior layouts because they were just sticking to what worked. And it was sort of that mentality of like, well, if it's not broken, don't fix it type of thing. So I kind of get both sides of the argument, but as a consumer, more than a you know, I'm not a manufacturer at all, but more as from a consumer standpoint, I would love to see more innovation in the interior layouts for a lot of these popular cases. I think that's just moving and driving the whole industry forward, the market forward, really. And additionally, he brought up the issue, sort of the same thing with power supply shrouds. While it's really nice that we have power supply shrouds now on a wide variety of cases where we really didn't a year or two ago, he's saying that it's sort of the same thing. All the features are seemingly copy-pasted from one case to the next. You've got this lower third shell that has maybe some SSD mounts on the top. You've got, you know, a place to hide your cables. Maybe you can remove some of the top panels, like the Dark Base 700, in order to, you know, like there you go, perfect timing, to stash more cables through, or to have maybe like a reservoir or pump shine through and things like that. Open up some radiator support. But, you know, I feel like there might be, I'm kind of with Dimitri on this one, there could be more innovative things that could be being done with power supply shrouds. He also mentioned that cases are getting bigger. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed cases getting bigger?
I've seen lots of new massive cases, and I keep turning them away, like the Cosmos 700.
Yeah, I turned that one away too. I think part of it was because it's just too big, and I don't want it taking up space. But the other thing is that I only see the value in really huge cases if you're going to be doing some custom water cooling.
Were you following this at all? Never mind.
No,
Never mind.
no. that sounds unpleasant though. Right?
No,
that's good.
Well, never mind.
Is that okay?
Don't worry.
All right, we'll circle back to that, I'm sure. But you know, I think cases are getting bigger because manufacturers are pitching the size as having more airflow, where that's not necessarily the case 100% of the time. Just because you have a bigger case doesn't mean you have more air flowing through it. You could have conversely, you could have a smaller case, like a Mini ITX, even if it's a larger Mini ITX case, having tons of airflow going through it. Size doesn't necessarily indicate airflow abundance or deficiency, in my opinion. I think that's how a lot of these larger cases this year were being marketed, as having tons of airflow. And we saw that as not being necessarily true, especially with, you know, one of his next points being that the airflow on a lot of these cases, and I'm sure Gamers Nexus would agree, is just shit, especially coming from the front of the case where most of the intake is coming from. Dimitri mentioned the H500P and how that wasn't exactly everything we hoped it would be cracked up to be. And having just sort of a cutoff system at the front panel where your fans weren't able to breathe necessarily. Even cases that seemingly had lots of ventilation and mesh were not delivering the amount of airflow that people were anticipating, simply because of the positioning of the fans. Perhaps the front panel was just encroaching on them too much. Even though they had tons of mesh, if the front panel is just like a millimeter or two away from your fans, you're not getting much air through that mesh anyway. Any useful air anyway. And yeah, so I definitely agree with that. And I feel like there was a huge emphasis, sort of an obsession with like silent cases and having like the best acoustics ever. And so you'd have this really closed off front panel for a lot of chassis that just did not deliver the airflow. I think the Mesh FIC right there is a great case that sort of stays true to the older type cases where it's just straight up mesh. Straight up mesh in the front. There's really nothing impeding any sort of airflow from those front intake fans, which is sort of your first defense against overheating. Just pumping lots of airflow through that front panel.
Given the reception of the H500P, especially with the airflow issues that it had, it definitely made it seem like very kind of forward-looking for Fractal to come out with the Meshify when they did.
Oh yeah,
just being
straight
like
up
a solid modern case with the tempered glass side panel, a lot of
Yeah.
modern features, but just they're like, we're not blocking the front at all. It's just
Yeah.
got airflow there. So
right.
Yeah.
And you know, I think it's a lot of it has to do with, like, honestly, it's sad but true. But like, people buy things based on the way they look. You know, I used to think that only Apple fans bought hardware because it looked good. But then, like, a while ago, I realized, like, no, like, PC enthusiasts buy shit because it looks good, too. I mean, why do you think RGB has taken off and, you know, is kind of like its own beast now? And the same thing goes for cases. Like, the H500P kind of went with the mentality that it looks really nice. I mean, it's one of the, like, arguably one of the nicest looking cases of 2017. But as Gamers Nexus demonstrated, has terrible airflow. And a lot of people were super hyped about this case because...
it's not terrible.
Okay.
It's just not what you would expect, given that it was a case that came from a series that was previously known for high airflow.
Okay, then yeah. I guess terrible, relatively speaking, based on how it was
Terrible
marketed.
based on what you would expect from a series that was previously known as high airflow.
Well, and its current series.
But
Because, I mean...
no,
Doesn't the H-
everything that they... All right, if you go back to the way Cooler Master was pitching it, like leading up to CES and everything like that, half high airflow, yes, it was a continuation of that series.
Right.
Everything they said afterwards, because they realized, like, they test these things themselves. They
Right.
know to some degree
Right.
what the shortcomings are.
Yeah.
They're like, it's not actually a high airflow case. It's the H500P.
Right.
And so on and so forth. So they step back from that, like, branding it as a high airflow case.
Yeah.
And, you know, people's response was what it was, which was, you know, not the best.
Right.
But
And I guess...
if you're not expecting it to be high airflow, then
What-
it's not a terrible case. You
What,
know, it's-
what
so-
else would you expect from the only case in 2017
You're right.
that had two 200 millimeter front intake
You're
fans?
Right. I'm playing devil's
which
advocate here
have
and everything like that.
always been known to pump out more airflow and higher CFM than like smaller fan. I mean, okay, yeah, I get it, and there was some sort of beating around the bush as how that was marketed, but I understand. I understand both sides, really. I do.
I'm cracking open a Lost Nation Brewing Mosaic IPA.
An IPA,
Yes.
which is not a beer that you hate.
Yeah, I don't
Just
mind.
might not
I
be
don't
your
mind
first
an
choice.
IPA. This is Vermont brewed, and it says, "We who wander are not lost," which is a paraphrasing, of course, of the verses that go with Mithrandir and
Mithrandir.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so moving on.
Sorry,
here.
no, that was completely incorrect. Aragorn.
I was gonna say I don't know
Aragorn.
enough lore in that
My
fandom
God.
to correct you properly.
Yes, that's the blade that was broken.
The cider is strung with this one. And then finally, choked. Oh wait, no, I already said that. So I mean, honestly, it's a pretty good video. It's a really good video. You guys should check it out on Hardware Canucks. Thank you, Dimitri, for continuing to pump out really good content. Sal looks like he's fiddling with our next link, but that's okay, because we're going to be talking about some Ryzen 2 details that were recently had some light shed on them. This is an article from WCCF Tech. This is about AMD's new lineup of 2000 series CPUs, codenamed Pinnacle Ridge. Ryzen 7, 5, and 3 CPUs will debut on the 12-nanometer process, and it's going to be in Q1 2018. We're going to be seeing Ryzen 2 7 in February, Ryzen 5 and 3 in March, and they will be sporting the new Zen Plus architecture. microarchitecture, which is fantastic. The new family is said to bring in a nice batch of higher clock speeds and better overclockability to the table, in addition to support faster DDR4. That's going to be exciting. Hopefully DDR4 pricing will drop, because if they're sticking with the same sort of, Infinity Fabric, which I'm sure they are, high-speed memory is going to be in high demand. And right now, even low-speed memory is super outrageously overpriced, or just really expensive right now. And it's going to be crazy if they're like, you know what? Ryzen 2 performs best with 4,000 megahertz RAM. People are going to be spending an arm and a leg on memory unless the prices drop soon. So hopefully that also happens by, hopefully Q1, Q2 of next year. We've also got, this is going to be a huge rival. This is going to be a direct rival with Intel's 900 series, the follow-up to Coffee Lake, which is going to be expected around June 2018 of next year. And this is going to bring 8 cores to Team Blue's mainstream platform for the first time ever, with, Coffee Lake just bringing the 6-core thing to the mainstream platform for the first time ever. And now we've got 8 cores. It's going to be a huge competitor. Hopefully it'll bring more competition to Ryzen than Coffee Lake did. I feel like it would, especially because we hardly even have a stable inventory. We can hardly get supply of Coffee Lake right now. I'm hoping that Intel doesn't jump the gun for the 900 series and they don't launch it super early and it ends up being a complete deficit of supply, where anywhere you can find a 900 series CPU is 20, 30, 40% over MSRP. Very similar to how Coffee Lake is right now. So competition is good, even with sort of AMD being the underdog. I'd still like to see Intel step up to the plate and finally give AMD a run for their money in the mainstream market.
So, assuming the WCCF Tech article we're looking at is accurate, which
it's a bold allegation, Paul.
This one doesn't seem too far out there.
Seems pretty straightforward.
But it is worth pointing out the difference here between the upcoming series of processors that are based on Zen architecture from AMD. So what we have right now, Summit Ridge based on the OG Zen CPU architecture. What Kyle's talking about, which is coming up, codenamed Pinnacle Ridge, is based on Zen Plus, which is a refinement, but also appears to potentially be a die shrink. And I don't believe this is confirmed, but seems pretty likely that they're moving from 14 nanometer to 12 nanometer. Mm-hmm. And then again, like Kyle already said, maybe higher core counts. We're not really sure, but should still be the AM4 socket, and that's what we're looking at the beginning of 2018. Zen 2 is the actual second generation Zen architecture. So that's like, if you're looking at this kind of like the tick-tock thing, like with Intel, it'd be a tick and then a talk, I guess, going from Zen to Zen Plus to Zen 2.
Right.
Zen 2 potentially down to 7 nanometer, which would be pretty huge. And obviously this is further out, so more speculative, but also 2019. So but just to keep it in your head, Zen Plus, Zen 2, like all different things. But Zen Plus 2018, Zen 2 probably 2019.
Yeah, it's a little bit confusing. I get tripped up myself sometimes, but thank you for the clarification, Paul. The other thing to note is that there's still very little known about the Zen Plus microarchitecture, though the 12 nanometers should mean higher clock speeds and better power efficiency, with those transistors being closer together. We've got board makers releasing the X470 and X450 models. I just lowered my chair. I literally just like shrunk.
Wow.
I took the small mushroom. And X450 models based on new 400 series chipset designs. So it's going to be the 400 series chipset. It's very exciting. I think the most exciting part about all this, though, or one of the most exciting things, is that we're still using the same AM4 socket that we've seen on X370 and B350. I think that's great. It's going to give an upgrade path.
So if AMD wants to maintain goodwill from people who have invested in AM4, when it comes to these new series chipsets, they need to not feel like you need to get the new chipset motherboard in order to get the most out of these new processors.
Right. And how would they do that, honestly? Like maybe disable overclocking or something like that, or if they had some ridiculously awesome feature that was only on 400 series chipsets.
There's different there's different
ways they could do that.
things that they could do, but like probably the most fundamental change would be access to PCI Express lanes and
yeah.
how those are laid out.
Yeah.
And if Zen Plus does have more PCIe lanes somehow, like if you would need the new chipset in order to access those or something like that,
Right.
which could be a make or break thing, depending on how you're looking at that potential upgrade path. But
Yeah.
for anyone who was thinking AMD's gonna let me take my AM4, X370 motherboard that I bought at the beginning of 2017 and still be using it in 2019 for Zen 2 CPUs with no noticeable drawback in feature support or speed or something like that. Like, I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna lay out.
I'm comfortable.
but-
I'm cool with them like having additional features with the 400 series chipset that you can't get in the 300 series chipset, as long as it's not.
They
too
need to be like
extreme.
extra
Extras,
stuff.
yeah. If you're a power user, if you're like a hardcore workstation freak and you're doing tons of rendering, or you need those NVMe drives in there with additional PCIe lanes, then okay, then yeah, like throw that into the 400 series chipset. But if you make it to the point where it's not even practical or feasible to drop, a 2000 series CPU into your X370 motherboard, then it's kind of like you're trying to milk the truth, really. It's like, yeah, we made it supported. Yeah, it's technically backwards compatible or forwards compatible, but it's
Sideways.
Sideways. What?
I don't know.
Yeah, sideways compatible, but you're not going to want to do it because we're offering so much other good stuff on the new platform that you're going to want to switch anyway. So it's got to be fair. It's got to be fair to consumers. And where you draw the line is kind of blurry.
NVMe connectivity as far as number of devices and number of lanes, I'm sure would
that's
be
important.
something that they could segment out, but
Yeah.
it just depends on how they want to do it and what they want to keep for the next gen versus the current gen.
Yeah.
We'll see what they decide.
Moving on, though.
But yeah,
Fun stuff with Ryzen 2. Let's move on to Pimp My PC,
That is
where
it.
we take a look at some of your guys' systems that you guys submitted on Twitters, and tell you how to maybe improve the look or overall quality of your build. First up, we've got one from Dylan, and doesn't look like he's got any specs provided, so we're just going to have to sort of guess here. Does look like he's got an ASRock Ryzen Tai Chi motherboard, so it's probably an X370 board. With perhaps the Ryzen 7 CPU. It's a pretty nice board, so I'd imagine. With an NZXT Kraken cooler on there. Looks very nice. And an S340, perhaps an Elite. With the GTX Founders Edition card of some sort. I would imagine it's either a GTX 1070, 1080, 1080 Ti. It does have SLI fingers on it, so it's not a 1060. And yeah, it looks like you've got some Trident Z RGB in there. Fantastic components here all around. But let's see, what can we do to help you out here, Dylan? I would say the first order is getting some sleeved extensions, perhaps. Those can go a long way in making your system look a little bit more showy and a bit more presentable. The fans also is a huge thing that it's a huge factor that can sort of add to the personality or characteristic of your overall system. So you've got the pretty much, the sort of stock fans from NZXT in here. The ones, quite frankly, the ones that Dimitri was complaining about in his top worst trends of PC cases in 2017's video.
Oh, yeah.
So they're just cheap black fans, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with them, but if you really wanted to sort of make it your own, and you've already got the beefy main components in hand, then, it's time to start looking at aesthetics, sure. Maybe swapping those out. It's also kind of interesting how you've made that top fan an intake. Don't really see that too often. Looks like it's an intake fan at the top, so you want to be bringing some air from the top inside of your case. Most people have that as an exhaust.
Cooling his VRMs.
Cooling the VRMs, perhaps. Or you could be exhausting hot air coming off of your VRMs, either way. But, sure, why not? I'm not going to knock you for it, because I'm sure that doesn't make a huge difference overall.
It might not be the best if you don't have a dust filter out there.
That's what I was going to say, is dust buildup might be an issue.
I was gonna say the stock or the NVIDIA reference design cooler here is what stands out to me as far as just clashing a bit with the green because it's got green.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, we got mostly black, white, and it looks like you got some purple going on with the LEDs. Although, granted, you can change the colors of those, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what clashes most to me. Other than that, things are pretty well coordinated and stuff. And the cable management, I feel like you've done the best you can with, barring the use of extensions or something like that.
Right.
To make just things look a little prettier all around. So very nice, clean build though.
Yeah, not bad. Thanks, Dylan.
Thank you, Dylan.
Next up, we've got one from Takeshi7. Takeshi, thank you very much for submitting your system. The sooner you feature this one, the sooner I can stop posting it. All right, great. Again, no real specs here. We just kind of have a couple pictures. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Yes, you did include it. We've got a Pentium EE 965 overclocked, 4 threads at 4.26 gigahertz, a GTX 480 from NVIDIA, an Asus P5Q, which is on the P45 chipset from Intel. We have 8 gigs of Hynix DDR2 800 speed, and let's see, Cooler Master Master Liquid 240, Corsair Obsidian 450D, nice little case there, Raid Max Thunder V2 power supply. And it says here that your CPU is getting temps over 90 degrees Celsius. I can lower it to 4 gigahertz to drop it to 75 C. I think 90 C is a little bit too warm, bruh. I would drop it somewhere between 4 gigahertz and 4.26. If you can stay under 80. If you can stay under 80, that's generally what I recommend. But apart from that, it looks like you've got interesting motherboard because we have a 24-pin connector on the very left of the motherboard, whereas we usually see it on the right. That kind of forced you to wire the cable in a sort of weird and maybe not so ideal path over your graphics card, and it sort of looks a little messy. Also, the blue fan isn't really doing it for me on the power supply. If you want to flip that, I know the 450D does have a power supply dust filter on the bottom, so you could look into that. Obviously, the ketchup and mustard on your PCIe cables and 24-pin are not doing you any favors, so perhaps look into getting some black sleeved extensions if you are, if you feel like if you plan on sticking with your current hardware, like the main platform of your system for a while, and you're not planning to upgrade anytime soon, then you can have some spare money to invest into aesthetics. Let's see. There's a nasty label black, like a sticker on your fan, on the rear exhaust fan, which you could remove.
This one? Just the barcode?
Barcode.
Oh, okay.
Barcode sticker.
Yeah, get rid of that.
Yeah, why? Get rid of that, and I think other than that, you've got sort of a gold color scheme here because of your motherboard. Obviously, it doesn't really have much to match up with, so I don't know. If you wanted to go all out, you could get some like nice fancy cables that are black and gold sleeved. That's something that you could look into. Obviously, you could maybe get some new RAM that has actual heat spreaders instead of just the bare PCBs. That maybe you could spray paint gold or something like that. Try to color match the heat sinks on your motherboard. I think that would look really nice. It would be fairly affordable too. Apart from having to buy a new RAM kit, that would be expensive actually. But yeah, that's all I got. Anything you want to add, Paul? Get rid of that red SATA cable.
Yeah, not really. It's just it's a much older system when it comes to the core components in there, so you're not dealing with parts that were designed with as much of an aesthetic consideration in mind. So
yeah,
it's harder to color coordinate, and it's also harder to say here's the money you should invest in this when
there are
you're talking
fundamental
about
components.
a system with DDR2 memory.
Yeah,
it's nearing the end of its useful life.
right.
We are.
Two DDRs in
yeah.
front of it, ahead of it. So yeah, I agree with Paul.
But thank you.
Take care of your priors.
Keshi7 for sending that in.
Next up, we've got one from Rolando with his 4770K Z97 Gaming 5 motherboard from MSI. Excuse me, ROG Strix Gaming GTX 1080 Ti and an Enthoo Pro M. Love that case. And some Ballistic Sport 16 gig DDR3 kit from Crucial. You know what the first thing that stands out to me here is? is that your top 2 fans are different.
Top 2 fans are different.
It looks like they have different blade patterns.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're right.
I don't know why that stood out to me so much.
One has 9 blades and one has 7 blades.
And what I would say is
Yes.
just use the same fans throughout your entire system. So if you have 3, it looks like you might have 2 or 3 of the same fans in here. I would just say buy more of those same fans and replace all of the other ones in your case that are not alike.
Flag and Dry in chat says it looks like maybe a 140 and a 120, which is possible. It does look
Yeah.
like the one on the left is wider
Yeah,
than the one on the right.
yeah, that could be.
Unless it's
I
like
think that's true.
might be a wide angle thing or something. Probably not, but
No, I think he's right. That's actually true. The one on the left does look a bit bigger.
yeah.
So that's something to also consider. I mean, just for a uniform look. I mean, again, if we're talking aesthetics here, functionally, it looks like you're pretty good to go, man. 1080 Ti and a 4770K, you're flying. You're good. No need to upgrade core components anytime soon. So at this point, you can spend the extra money or any money you have on looks and appearance. So I would say get some new fans in there. Extensions are always going to be something that adds to the overall look of your system. At least for the 24 pin and your PCIe.
MSI Z97 Gaming 5 motherboard apparently has a green.
Is that a debug?
A green debug LED? Is that a thing? Really?
No. Why?
I did not know that was a thing, but
Why would it be green?
that's very strange. I've never noticed that or seen that before.
Disable
Yeah,
it. Disable it. You can
Disable
probably
that
disable it in the
if you
BIOS
can.
if you can.
because it definitely clashes.
Yeah. Or tape it up.
Beyond that, there's a blue light
Electrical
here.
tape.
I'm not sure if that's a reflection of something or if that's actually
No, it's
part
got to
of
be
the-
on the cooler.
part of the cooler.
I feel like it's part of the
It's
cooler.
also clashing just a little bit. It looks like you have a brace on here to prevent GPU sag, which is mostly. It looks like there's still a little
up here.
bit of sag going on there. It's hard to say for sure, but I don't know. I mean, the cable management's super clean.
Yeah.
So
Looks
so,
good.
So you know, that looks pretty good there. I like that you included a shot of the back cable management as well.
Nice cable management in the back.
Which I think you've done a pretty good job with.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
Looks good.
it's not a whole lot to be done as far as, other than, getting some more, investing a little bit more in aesthetic stuff like cable extensions, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But very nice build.
Thanks, Rolando. Next up, we've got Michael. He's the person who donated on YouTube to get featured.
Oh, hey.
Okay, 8700K, 5 gigahertz, Gigabyte Z370 gaming, 7 motherboard, 16 gigs of Vengeance DDR4, EVGA CLC 280, 1080 GTX 1084, the Win 2, and a Supernova G3 750 watt with an H500P with front panel mesh mod and X3 or 3 cable mod addressable RGB strips.
Oh.
All right, so you're pretty much decked out in the aesthetic department, it looks like. And it looks like you have a pretty nice setup of hardware here, something that most people would kill for. Let's see, what could we add? What could we add here?
The mesh mod on the H500P.
Mesh mod.
I wasn't sure when I saw Gamers Nexus do that, if that was something that Gamers Nexus was just going to make up or if anyone is actually going to do it.
It looks like, yeah, people have
Someone has actually done it.
followed suit. That's awesome, though. That's going to drop your degrees, according to Gamers Nexus's testing, up to 10 degrees Celsius, which is huge. So that's great. I would say, honestly, you have really clean cable management here. The cabin looks pretty sweet.
There are a few little loopy cables up here that
Could be tightened up a little.
maybe could be tightened up a little bit. Also, you got the EVGA closed loop cooler that has the unfortunate kind of USB plug on the bottom of it that there's really not a whole lot you can do with.
Yeah.
Just an unfortunate position, but yeah, I don't know if you could tuck that down a little bit maybe, but probably not a whole lot. I see that there's an additional, what looks like maybe an 80 or 90 millimeter fan down here at the bottom
Yeah.
for exhaust. That's an interesting addition.
I wonder if that does anything.
I'm not sure how much benefit that would provide, but okay, sure. Also, it just seems to be right up against the expansion brackets, or the PCI
Looks like
brackets
he's
right
got some
there, so-
red zip ties
Yeah.
holding it
That's
down to
interesting.
the case.
I like that you've got a little mascot in here, the little skeleton dude.
It's Ahmed.
That's cool. That's Ahmed.
Ahmed from, I think that's the Jeff Dunham, the
Oh, okay.
ventriloquist. That's one of his characters.
But yeah,
Pretty sweet.
nice looking build overall. I like the kind of black and white and silver thing you got going on. I will say the mesh mod, just looking at some of the pictures on the front, it doesn't look as clean as when the plastic's on there, but
Of course.
you got to take the performance benefits over the aesthetics, I think, in that situation.
Right.
So very nice build there, Michael. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done, sir. Kind of like similar to the last build, I feel like the cable extensions would be kind of the next step for you,
Right.
but not necessary by any stretch.
Yeah. Just to top it off, I'd say some nice black sleeved extensions would go nicely. But thank you very much, Michael. Next up, we've got
Lastly-
Cryptic Ninja with the Ryzen 5 1600 CPU, stock cooler, Asus Crosshair 6 Hero 8 gigs of crucial memory, MSI GTX 960 2 gig, EVGA 850 BQ, and blah blah blah, and a $40 Cougar case.
All right. Well, there's your problem.
Yeah, the case.
Which, I mean,
$40.
It's
That's
a
too cheap.
functional case. I've built in this. I think I'm not sure if it's this exact case, but I've built in a $40 Cougar case, and it's definitely immediately the weak points in the builds.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
lets you get everything put together and functional, but doesn't let you position stuff.
This could look
appropriately.
like a $1,000 build.
Yeah.
But instead it looks like a $400 build because of the case.
But that said, before you upgrade your case, I would add another 8 gig memory stick. Just to give yourself a 2x8. I don't know, maybe
Well, if you're multitasking,
yeah.
if you're gaming
Um,
while streaming, or if you're gaming while VoIPing and browsing the web, then definitely. And check your system usage. Check your resources and see, am I maxing out my 8 gigs, or am I I'm only at 50%, bruh.
I also want to say that a
it out.
320 gig mechanical hard drive is more of a liability than a benefit at this point.
Yeah. Who knows what he has it there for?
I mean, it seems like probably a drive that was carried over from an old system or something like that, which I can understand, but
Yeah.
I would clear that out at some point, just because 320 gigs for a 3.5-inch drive, just the amount of size and power that's taking compared to what amount of storage you're getting is not that good of a trade-off.
I think you should upgrade his GPU first.
GPU first?
I think so. I mean,
You got a
because the
GTX
Ryzen,
960 all right, GTX 962 gig.
because the
all right.
Ryzen 5 1600 can definitely handle more than that.
You're right,
And
you're
I
right.
feel like if you are gaming with this system, then you could afford to upgrade the GPU. I mean, the GTX 960 is already not super fast as it is, but the fact that you're also dealing with a 2 gig frame buffer,
Yeah, especially
with modern games, I feel like even lower end games are starting to push the bandwidth of 2 gigs. So it might be time to upgrade your GPU before anything else, and then have those things follow suit. I don't know. A GTX 1060 6GB would be a nice upgrade, I think.
Yeah.
That's not going to set you back too much, especially if you can, sell some parts, maybe the GTX 960 or whatever.
Might be slightly more practical given the memory prices right now too. So.
Yeah, true that.
But yeah, new case, new graphics card, add a little bit more memory, all those things, and then resubmit. Resubmit to
Yeah.
my PC.
Yeah, because your cable management already looks like it's in the right direction. So I think with a better case, it'd be even cleaner.
Yeah, you need
Thank
more.
you very much.
More to work with there.
Thanks everyone who submitted for Pimp My PC. We will be doing this again, either next episode or the one after that. So don't get discouraged if we didn't pick you this time around. But thank you to everyone who did submit. Next up, we've got the Games Report. We'll
Games
go over
Report.
some of these really quickly because I didn't honestly have too much time to take super notes on each of these articles, so we'll just kind of run through them quickly. The first one's from PC Gamer. It's basically highlighting Warhammer 2's Laboratory, which is a new sort of free Skaven Laboratory update. It's the free Skaven Laboratory update. It's got a bunch of sliders that you can tweak, and this is to change things like the level of gravity in the game, monster size, and there's a unit slider, which will probably crash your system when maxed out. So the reason why this this article caught my attention is because it seems like a fun tool or a fun toy to mess with to test your CPU strength. Because if you look at that, I mean, those are each individually rendered warriors, and you can increase the unit size so that you have literally thousands of these tiny warriors on screen. It's kind of like, remember like the Total War Shogun?
Ah, yes.
Remember how that was like huge in terms of like taxing your CPU and seeing how much you can handle? This is sort of the modern version of that, where you can adjust all these different parameters to really put your CPU through its paces. And obviously that's not the initial intent, the original intent of the developer. It's more so just for entertainment because it's a game. But for all of us enthusiasts who are benchmarking constantly and who care about CPU performance, this could be a fun toy to mess around with. I mean, you could literally mess around. I could mess around with this for hours, changing the different sliders, changing the gravity settings. If you change the gravity settings, as soon as like one warrior bashes into like an army of rats, the rats all go flying. And it's just like almost like a particle effect of rats just flying through the air that could, affect your frame rate one way or another.
That sounds exciting.
Sounds super exciting. I would just like to see this many textures being rendered at once on screen and seeing how different CPUs are handling it, because oftentimes games are primarily GPU bound, and there are very few games these days that are primarily CPU bound, and I feel like this is perhaps an interesting tool that could appeal to a lot of benchmark reviewers and things like that, just because it is so CPU demanding. So I would like to check this out. It's free.
I have Warhammer 2.
If you have Warhammer 2, Paul already has it. He's one step ahead of the crew. And I would highly suggest that you maybe do a video on it or something, Paul, because I think that'd be something interesting that a lot of us would like to see if you tested this sort of download, this game with different CPUs.
Sorry.
Are you
No.
watching porn while I do my half of the show?
It wasn't important at all. What are you talking about?
I have my doubts. Just let me watch. Okay. Moving on though. Just a quick little tidbit on Warhammer 2. Let's move on to our next article, which is about Overwatch. The folks at Blizzard. This is from PCGamesN.com. Overwatch is now reformatting its reporting tool. One of the most requested tools for mitigating the toxicity in game has finally landed as part of the Winter Wonderland event patch. Apparently there's like lots of issues with Overwatch players being just dicks. Being royal dicks.
Why would they do that?
Either in the game chat or from hacking or cheating or whatever. There's a lot of toxicity, and finally Blizzard has taken some steps against these toxic people. Because with the Winter Wonderland event patch, if you now report a player and Blizzard takes action against said player and their account...
Look at these two dudes just sitting there talking about video games like people want to hear what they have to say.
I love video games. I love it. I play them all the time. Yeah. Just look at the posters behind us, bro. Look at the posters. Clearly we like video
Anyway,
games.
what were we talking about?
Now if you report a player and Blizzard takes action against their account, you will be notified that your report was heard. And you'll be notified in-game. Not an email, not some kind of text message, but you'll actually be notified in-game, hey, that person you reported for being a dick is now banned. So there you go. This kind of shows gamers that they're being heard and that the developers are on their side. It encourages gameplay across all of their the demographic. Dicks will get warnings.
Mm-hmm.
Dickholes will get warnings if they're being assholes, like the assholes they are. If they're being close to, if they're getting close to being suspended or banned, they will get warnings now saying, "Hey, your behavior has been kind of shitty because you've been a dick. Knock it off, or you'll get banned or suspended or what have you." So that's it seems like the level of communication between the developers and the toxic people and the regular gamers is just sort of strengthening with this latest patch update.
That's good. So you report someone,
Yeah.
you get the feedback that they've been banned.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you get a
It's a two-way
sense.
street.
Then you get a sense of pride and accomplishment.
Pride and accomplishment, and also the sense that you feel like your reporting is actually doing something. Because I feel like with me, when I report something, I often feel like there's no resolve. Like I feel like there's no, like that's the end, that's the last thing I'll ever do, and that's the last thing I'll ever see about this case that I have. And that I'll never know if my report was ever read, or sent, or heard, or ever acted upon. And this is good validation that people's voices are being heard anytime they feel like they're being wronged in while playing this game.
I have a sense of pride and accomplishment right now.
You sure do, and why should you not?
Also, here.
Am I a little out of frame?
It's like you were.
I was getting carried away, quite literally, Paul.
How you're slipping slowly out of frame.
Woo! It's just I just want to scale this whole room right now. And finally, our last story here is from PC Gamer once again about just a quick little review on Fallout 4 VR. This is one of the first AAA titles to ever get a VR treatment, and it really does seem, according to PC Gamer, like a full-fledged
Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Oh, you skipped one.
We'll skip the skin betting because it's
No one cares about that.
it's a BBC article.
Stupid BBC.
No one cares. No one cares, BBC. Fallout 4 is getting it right by including or implementing VR. It's been a great VR implementation, according to the folks at PC Gamer. The VAT system is one of the best parts about the game. Instead of allowing you to target a specific area or areas on your enemy or enemies, and then watching your attacks play out into a cinematic view, the VAT system in VR works more like a traditional bullet time effect. The time slows down and you aim with the controller, you feel a lot more connected to the action. So instead of just having like an automated, like, select your targets and then press a button and then just watch a cinematic, clip of all your enemies just getting shot down.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
You're actually doing the shooting yourself, and it feels a lot more immersive. But it's sort of in a bullet time sort of sense, so you feel like you have like a dead eye,
Sounds like way more work.
You have like a Red Dead Redemption type of effect, or a Max Payne effect, if you will. Which is pretty cool.
Look at this ad right here.
Sounds super cool. I really want to try Fallout 4 in VR. It sounds awesome. The Pip-Boy, however, doesn't translate as well. The Pip-Boy was like your sort of like a menu screen where you'd have it on your wrist or whatever. You actually have to hold up your wrists in order to use it, and you have to use a D-pad on one of the Vive controllers to actually navigate. Which, I mean, if you would imagine a D-pad versus mouse and keyboard, it's not quite as efficient. So
yeah, it doesn't seem right.
Where the VAT system gets it right, the Pip-Boy kind of falls or kind of pales in comparison. At the end of the day, though, the remarks were overwhelmingly positive for this particular title, for Fallout 4 VR, and it's a good sort of.
He's decorating his.
It's like The Sims all in one, wrapped up into one. So it's a good benchmark for other AAA title games to follow if they're trying to implement trying to make their game into VR, trying to make it VR friendly.
Okay.
This is the model you should follow if you're a AAA game developer and you're looking to make your next game VR friendly. Whereas Doom VFR or Doom VR has not been receiving the same sort of positive marks as this particular title.
No.
Whereas Doom VR seems to be more of like a Doom simulator than an actual playthrough of Doom.
I haven't tried it yet.
I haven't tried it yet either, but I feel like I've heard that the movement is really bad. Like you have to like teleport, and when you're not teleporting, it just feels very like you're on rails type of thing, where it doesn't feel like you're actually. Because the thing about Doom is that what makes the game is the pacing. You know what I mean? You're constantly jumping around the map. You're moving. If you're idle at any point, you're dead. You have to constantly move around, and I feel like that's a huge challenge with VR, because how do you make the user jump around the map without teleporting and not feel completely nauseous? So I feel like their solution to that was just to sort of either make you teleport anyway, or to have you kind of casually move around the map and not really grasp the whole mechanism of fast-paced gaming.
Chat
like
says,
Doom's traditionally
Chat
familiar
said
with.
that Doom VR is poopy doo doo.
Pretty much accurately summed up by a lot of the critics that I've read on online so far. So
That's unfortunate.
yeah, it is. It is unfortunate. And let's see, Fallout 4 is Fallout series is what, Bethesda?
I believe so.
They're Bethesda, and Doom is id.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So two different developers, two different approaches. Obviously, the one for id, or I'm
Bethesda.
sorry, Bethesda worked out a little bit better this time around. So hopefully we see more AAA games implementing VR in a positive way, and yeah, I mean, I think things are gonna just look upward from here. Just eliminate all that Doom VR shit. We want a full-fledged AAA game in VR. We don't want some sort of simulation of that game that happens to play well with VR. So, thank you very much, PC Gamer, for that article. I think we can go ahead.
Doom is also Bethesda.
Doom's also Bethesda, so it's...
That's what chat says.
Which is really weird, because I thought it was Bethesda, but it just doesn't make sense to me that the Fallout 4 rendition in VR would do so well, and yet they would flop so heavily on the Doom version of VR.
There might have been
on the
different
VR version of
production.
Doom.
There might have been different individual production houses.
That's why I'm thinking maybe id worked on the VR version of Doom, and Bethesda took control of their Fallout 4 version. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Bethesda publishes id games. All of this is coming straight from Twitch chat.
I trust Twitch chat wholly. They are the masses.
Bethesda was just the publisher.
I mean, Twitch chat might as well be
Bethesda
Wikipedia.
bought id a while ago. This is why we should never do the games report.
Right?
So,
No, yeah. I mean, come on. We mainly focus on tech news, and even that's a stretch. So for us to be accurately reporting on games, I mean,
I think we've been accurate.
super accurate.
Okay.
All right, so let's go ahead and why don't we do you want to do some Johnson shoutouts really quick?
Yes.
So
we
we'll
have
jump into
some
donations.
Johnsons.
Holy
I have 4.
moly!
I have
okay.
4 Johnsons.
I have a few here. Cameron Hash. I'm gonna mispronounce and
Cameron?
totally Cameron. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna totally butcher everyone's last name here for the donations or for the merch here. Cameron Hash for the Bitwit white logo navy tri-blend T-shirt. Thank you, Johnson.
David H. from Colorado got the Zero Insertion Force 2 mug set. Excellent. I hope you enjoy that, David.
Nice. Janelle Feldmar, Lighthouse Point, Florida. Beware of bottleneck shirt in the Cardinal Heather Gray or Cardinal Heather. Thank you.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Brett from Texas got the Thumbscrew gaming mousepad, the standard gaming
Nice.
mousepad, which I think one of
They are super nice.
this one. Got this one.
Matthew Fish. His last name's Fish,
First,
but I made it sound like Fish. Stay
good.
Positive Tri-Balance T-shirt, Awesome Hardware Star Wars Heather Navy T-shirt, and a BIOS Flasher heavy metal gray T-shirt.
Nice.
Holy crap! Thank you very much, sir.
Robert from Texas gets a Johnson. That's very appropriate for Robert.
Johnson.
And he also got quite a substantial order there. He of course used the discount since he ordered more than $50 worth of product. He used that discount code.
Taking advantage, man.
10% off.
Taking advantage.
The Thumbscrew beer set, the glass and the opener,
Yep.
the organic cotton beanie, the decal, and the keycap. All of those together. Thank you so much, Robert.
Can't forget the keycap. David Hyde from the Netherlands, Colorado. Thank you very much, sir, for picking up a CPU
Wait,
cooler
what?
and Flash BIOS ceramic mug set. Beautiful. The mugs are selling very well. I'm surprised. Thank you very much. And an Awesome Hardware Star Wars and RGB everything mug.
Lovely.
Hell yeah.
My final Johnson for Michael C. from Arizona. He got the Star Wars Heather Navy t-shirt, the Awesome Hardware shirt,
Oh yeah.
as well as the desk mat, big long thumbscrew desk mat
Nice.
for mousing.
Couple more here. Noah Markham for picking up a Bitwit gaming mousepad. Hey,
Johnson.
you are buyer number 2, sir. Hope you enjoy it. We've also got one from Robert Faber, Bitwit gaming desk mat. Thank you very much, sir. We got one from Ken Simmons, Awesome Hardware Star Wars black t-shirt, and an Awesome Hardware RGB everything t-shirt. 2 or 3 more here. Joseph from Pennsylvania, CPU cooler shirt, and an Awesome Hardware Star Wars RGB everything mug set. and a decal and a tall boy glass. Holy
Damn.
crap. You
Nice.
bought the whole store.
Nice.
You just selected buy all. Thank you very much, sir. And Francisco picking up a CPU cooler and flash BIOS full color mug. Damn, the mugs are hot. And, okay, 3 more. Robert Bitwit logo, organic cotton beanie. I didn't even know I was selling beanies. That's awesome. Bitwit logo, circle decal, and words in a circle pint glass, and a navy t-shirt. Holy crap. And you guys are monsters. 2 more. Michael Cubiello, picking up a Bitwit desk mat. Thank you for picking up a desk mat. And a Sword Fight Gaming mouse pad. Bitwit Circle logo decal. And last but certainly not least, we have Mary Ann Castillo. How's it going, Mary? Thank you for picking up an awesome Hardware Star Wars black t-shirt and a gaming desk mat with a Bitwit branding on it. Thank you guys so much. We
Yay.
appreciate all of your patronage and
awesome.
support through our stores. It really does help us a lot. More than you know. But we have some other donations to top off here.
All right.
Starting with who? Who do we got?
Joseph T.
T.
$5 donation says, we drink beer, sending Milwaukee beer your way. Let me know a Milwaukee favorite.
What? I don't know. Milwaukee favorites. I don't know what that
Milwaukee's,
means.
like, to me, is associated with the big beer brands.
Big beer. Oh, like Budweiser?
Yeah. Milwaukee's best.
I guess I would say I'm a Budweiser fan. Like, if I had to go the domestic route, America domestic is not my favorite pick of the litter, but we have like what, a couple options. I would say Budweiser. It's the lesser of all evils. I don't like Coors Light. I mean, I don't like any of them, but I would drink a Budweiser before a Coors Light or a Bud Light, unless it's the Bud Light Michelada.
All right,
I like the Bud Light Michelada.
10 iconic Milwaukee beers. Hold
10?
on.
10 iconic Milwaukee beers. Oh, you're
Schlitz.
I never heard of it. Oh,
A
Pabst.
6 of Schlitz? You've never heard of a 6 of Schlitz?
No.
1849, come on. Pabst PBR is from Milwaukee. Miller,
Sure.
of course, the High Life.
Miller.
Blatz
The High Life.
Beer. Sprecher Brewery. Black
Sprecher.
Bavarian. I'm not familiar with that.
Milwaukee.
Lakefront Brewery's Klish.
Oh, Klish. Yeah.
Okay.
Klish.
Milwaukee Brewing Company. Weekend at Louis.
Sounds
Third
fun.
Space Brewing Happy Place.
Always
Black
mine.
Husky Brewing Spruce. And Good City Brewing Reward.
I've only heard of 2 or 3 of those, but I would say. Jeez.
I like Happy Place.
Just because it sounds
It's a
fun.
Midwest pale ale full
Just
of
'cause it sounds
citrus,
fun.
passion fruit, and berry flavors, which balance out the hop aromas, making this a full-bodied but very drinkable beer. I'm gonna say Happy Place.
All right.
That's what I'm gonna go for.
You have our votes now. Thank you very
All right.
much, Joseph T, for the donation.
Fred
Man,
Reg.
$100.
$100.
Hundos! Holy crap. Kyle, here is Wifey Sauce and your $100. Merry Christmas. By the way, someone said I was your nemesis. No idea why. Me either, Fred. Here's the deal. If Paul sets up the straw poll I requested and you honor it, I will give Paul 100 and you 200. You must honor for either payout. I feel like I'm on one of those sadistic, like, game shows, or like Fred Rant's just a super like rich billionaire, and he's just now looking for ways to entertain his sick self by playing off of the common people and forcing us to do horrendous things for his own amusement.
Is the straw poll the question he asked on my half?
Yeah, it was
like
the
4
1 through
choices?
4. I think it was the options 1 through 4 of what I would have. Cherry pie in the face. I think number 4 was, Wifey Sauce's choice, which I vetoed. But okay, we will keep that request
Have to be prepared
in
for
mind
that next time.
In mind, Fred.
like.
I'm sure Wifey Sauce will be in contact with
So
you
we
soon.
have the punishments lined up.
I
That's
am
what's the important
thoroughly
part.
excited by your offer, as I am terrified. K3707, $20. I have an ROG Extreme X299 and a 7920X. I kept getting random freezing. Took out all but one DIMM, and it works. Still need to update BIOS, but do you guys think it's the BIOS or a bad MOBO/RAM G-Skill RGB 3600 32 gig?
You might have a bad
stick?
Stick
a
of
bad
memory.
stick. Memory
That's possible.
often the culprit for crashing and random freezing like that. You could easily do a Windows memory test. Do some mem test.
Yeah, you can run memcheck.
Memcheck.
You
That could
just
help.
need to load it up on a USB drive and then load it up. That would be a possibility.
Yeah.
Do your BIOS update though. I mean, check that see if it changes anything.
Yeah.
But
Good luck.
Chances are, yeah, a bad memory stick isn't uncommon. Also, not the end of the world. Should be replaceable pretty easily.
Yeah. Raul Ozario, $50. You guys are awesome for the weekend live stream.
Thank
You
you, Raul.
killed it. Now you guys should switch hairstyles and facial hair in the future for a stream or two.
Is that possible?
Okay,
Can we
me
just- I don't
being
know.
bald. There somehow we keep circling back to me being bald,
I don't know why.
or not bald, but just very little hair, like Paul has.
I don't know why.
you with my
that's-
facial
seems
hair.
to be.
You kind of already had
Requested
my
for
facial
you.
hair
Yeah.
before the stream. So
I
really,
did Novembeard already.
yeah, he already
shave it off.
had succumbed to the beard vember. So I don't know. I don't think I would ever shave my head bald.
I just don't know how you can
Sounds-
like swap for a day or something like that. Doesn't seem physically.
Yeah, that seems like it's a trap. It's a trick. It's a trick request. Just shave your head for a day. No, it doesn't work that way.
Then put it back.
Put it back.
Yeah.
Just for a day. No, it's not.
Okay.
But thank you very much for the $50 donation. Nonetheless, Raul, we appreciate it, sir. ZZR Hardy for the 10 Australian. Consider doing a Boinc or BOINC grid computing build. I do not know much about that. to
Haven't
be
haven't
honest.
considered that myself. It's
I
a
have to do
little
some
bit
more
more of
research.
a specific application.
Very niche.
So yeah, we'd have to figure out how much interest there is in that type of thing.
Yeah.
So not much, I guess, would be the answer to your question.
Probably gonna do a
ZCR.
Hackintosh before I
Ready?
do one of those.
Then all right.
Tom's Bremsmiths for the 100 Norwegian Kroner. Sadly, watch only 2 hours live, rest 10 hours. I watched offline because time zones. I work at night, so Awesome Hardware is so much better than Spotify. By the way, why you didn't use 2 color fluid in the Elite build? The reason why I didn't use 2 different colors in the Elite build was because I didn't really have another color that I felt would match the silver
They're separate loops.
all that well. 2 different loops.
Oh,
One for the CPU and one for the GPUs.
that is interesting. Then that you didn't.
Honestly, I like the uniform. I don't think that it's mandatory that just because you have 2 loops, you have to use 2 different colors. I think a lot of the appeal for me comes from the fact that you get 2 freaking reservoirs right next to each other that look awesome, and the fact that you're cooling 2 separate components, main components of your system independently of each other, which is great for the fact that if I happen to be rendering or something where pretty much all the load is on the CPU is unencumbered or the GPU is unencumbered by one loop or the other. Like the CPU gets all the attention from that loop, and the GPU doesn't get sacrificed because of it. I don't know. I guess I was just so happy with the Primo Chill view and how it looked in one loop that I was just like, let's fill it up with the other. I did consider at a certain point to fill the second loop up with just distilled water to have sort of a more clear look, just sort of a more crystal clear look. But I don't know. I'm very uniform in that sense. It was a personal choice. It's a personal choice. There's no right or wrong. So, but thank you very much for the donation.
I need to answer the next 2 questions. I was about to go and take a pee break, but then I realized the next 2 questions are both kind of directed at me. So, Mood411, $10 donation said, "Hey guys, really enjoyed playing Overwatch with you guys during the charity stream.
Moot.
We enjoyed playing with you. I remember
Mr.
being
Moot.
killed by Moot and annoying Paul as Tracer. Yes, yes, he killed me. Congrats on surpassing your donation goal. Also, enjoy that heady topper. We're jealous.
Oh yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Enjoy
I
it.
certainly am.
Enjoy it well. Thank you, Moot. Thanks for joining us and during the stream and everything. It was really great to play games with all y'all.
That was. It was super fun.
ASDF, $5 donation. Paul, from your store, what size shirt do you wear? And what's your experience with shrinking? The site has that info, but I'd like your input. Cheers. I wear a large, size large, and it shrinks ever so slightly, but not extensively. And this is a large on me, and fits just fine.
Nice.
This also is a shirt from the same store, by the way.
Oh yeah.
This is from
My
this is
secret.
from the Epic Pants.
My
store.
secret is like I actually hang dry. I learned this from Wifey Sauce. I hang dry all my shirts and my actual like nice jeans.
That's stupid. FTP.
It's not stupid.
It's not stupid.
It's not stupid at all because your shirt stays the same size as the day you bought it. Which, like, when I'm trying something on, I want it to remain that size. Putting anything in the dryer, especially on high heat, will invariably shrink it. So all my shirts are the exact same size as the day I bought them. That's all my graphic tees, all the tees from my own store, ones that I've got from Tech Syndicate or, you know, Paul's Hardware, wherever. I do not put any of my good shit in the dryer. I hang dry all that shit. And it was a huge learning curve for me, and sort of something that I had trouble adopting at first, because it's more time and effort. It's easy to just throw something in the dryer, have the machine do it, but you know, it takes more time and effort to actually hang up all that shit. But the end result is that I never run into like my favorite shirt that no longer fits me. You know, especially as I increase in my own personal size and physicality, getting fatter by the day. I need to make sure that the dryer isn't putting me at any sort of physical disadvantage on its own. So those are my 2 cents. Jay, don't sue me. Next up, we've got a donation from MB67 with the $13.37. Elite as shit. Kyle, speaking of your discussion of cases and sizes, I'm going to be doing a couple of small form factor builds to challenge myself in 2018. The Dan Case A4 SFX V2, excellent choice, and the Laug Ghost S1. The Laug? Laug. The Dan Case A4, that's going to be fun. I wish I had one of those on hand to actually build in. I think that's going to be a really fun, sort of challenging build. The Laug Ghost S1, I'm not super familiar with, so I'm gonna go get it! Let's see. See what we got. Luke. Oh, okay. This looks very similar to, what's the damn thing? The N-Case M1. It's kind of similar. Looks like it still supports a full ATX power supply. But perhaps even smaller than the N-Case M1. Not sure if it has support for an AIO, like that case does. But okay, honestly, I'm all for a mini ATX challenge. I think it's great. Definitely forces you to sort of think outside the box in how you're going to, you know, which parts you're really going to use. I think part choice is very important in that sense. But I wish you the best of luck, MB67. Be sure to tweet me some pictures of the system or systems whenever you're done. Next up, we've got Dingo on my 40 for the $5. Thank you very much. No comment. Appreciate it, Dingo. Michael Percoco. Happy holidays, guys. Thank you for the content. Also, thank you to the community and Cell. Yes, the community raised over 10 grand last weekend. Holy shit, community's awesome. We have the best fucking fans on the internet. And Cell Processing is the best fucking moderator I've ever had the privilege of knowing or working with. So yeah, like cheers to those guys. Cheers to all of those. All you guys watching, Cell, you're all awesome. We love you. Truly, you're the best. Rod9265, $200. This is my father-in-law.
Yeah, I was about to say,
again,
aren't you related to him?
Father-in-law strikes again with the $200 donation. I didn't even catch it in chat. Does that have like a whole new color that we've never even seen before in Super Chat?
Looks like it's still red.
It's still red. Okay, still red, but
still just red.
It just feels even redder than the other ones.
I'd be curious what a $500 donation might, what color that would be.
Particularly on Paul's half of the chat.
Especially if it was on my half.
Heather and Kyle, Merry Christmas. I love you. You said no Christmas presents this year, but it ain't Christmas yet. And I'm dad, so yeah. Thank you, Rodney. I appreciate it, man. You're the best. I love you. You're literally the most awesome father-in-law a son-in-law could ask for. Although you're the only one I've ever had, so, you know, sample size is pretty small. But, no. Thank you. Thank you. I'm humbled by the donation, Rodney. Thank you very much, sir. See you at the Christmas party soon enough. Sebastian Casella. 80 Argentine, is that Argentinian? Argentinian, the R's, the
yes.
ARs. Kyle, leave Paul, watch this important things. Love the show. Watch his important things.
Paul, watch his important things, love the show.
Translation? Kill Paul. I don't know. Watch his important, did you have any important things that you left behind that I was supposed to watch?
I mean, I say important things every
Well, you say
second.
important things, yes.
Every second.
That's true. You are a man
Sebastian,
of wisdom.
we love you too. Thank you so much.
Yes,
for
thank you,
loving
sir.
our show.
Appreciate it, sir, for the donation, and we
Yes.
really do are grateful. CodyMan125, $5. I hate finals season, but love the show. Thanks for the distraction for a few hours. Cheers, Cody Man. Good luck to you and all your finals.
right now, huh?
Good luck. Yeah. Our intern Chris is undergoing finals at the moment too.
At least
so
once
he
your
feels
finals
you.
are done, you get like a few weeks where you don't have to do anything, right?
Yeah, where you just get to be bored. Remember
kinda
that?
nice.
Boredom was nice back in the day. Jake 3D, $5. Haven't commented since I aired on wrong account. LOL.
Oh.
Are you guys going to stream on the 19th and 26th? Caught end of charity LSG
Live stream.
a live stream.
Good job to you
Good
and
job to
community
you and
for
community.
$10,000.
So many acronyms I am not
That's a
prepared
lot of
for right now.
shorthand.
A lot of shorthand.
Okay, we are planning on streaming a week from today on the
yes,
19th.
Yes.
We
are.
had talked
19th
about
and the 26th.
skipping the 20th.
Oh, did we talk about skipping that? I'm cool with that because it's the day after Christmas.
It's the
people
day
are
after
wrapped up.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's give ourselves a break. It's
yeah,
fine.
we'll probably skip that day, and then the day
Tentatively
after
skipping.
the day after New Year's, I think we would be okay to stream that day.
Let's see. What is the day after New Year's?
It's Tuesday, the 2nd.
Oh yeah, as long as it's not on the 1st.
And we don't go to CES until the following week.
Right.
So yeah.
No, as long as it's not the 1st. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
wrecked.
so-
I'm gonna be dead on the 1st, and I'll be resurrected on the 2nd. So
Yeah,
I'll be good
so-
for that show.
Don't expect us on the 26th, but we are planning on coming back on the 2nd of January 2018 to tell you guys all of the new things in the new year that you need to know about. What the hell?
What the fuck is this?
It's an update.
Stupid Windows.
It's asking you to do an update.
This is like a new type of pop-up that I haven't seen
You can't do
before.
anything about it. You have to hit snooze.
Oh my god. I'm reverting all my devices back to Windows 8.1. Never have this issue on Hotline. Ever. I hate Windows 10. Sorry. Brief tangent. Moving on. Where are we here? Gerald, $5. Please raid Taylor Fury. She's a neat gal and very nice. Thank you. Cheers. I know a lot of neat.
I think Cell.
Nice gals.
I think Cell already had a raid lined up for us.
Yeah.
But we do.
We'll keep her in mind.
We do appreciate Taylor Fury, and I hope she is awesome.
She's our favorite. Troy Millwater, $10. Would you guys mind pimping my wife's Threadless and Facebook page? I don't know what Threadless is. I'm too old. Love the stream. I will throw the link back up in the Twitch stream if you don't mind taking a look. Appreciate it. We don't generally allow you
Sure,
to
we're-
promote your own
Yeah, we're
avenues.
always on the fence. Donations are typically supposed to be donations for comments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Only because if lots of people do advertisements there, it becomes a bunch of people just paying money to advertise.
We
and
set a
don't-
precedent.
really
We don't want to set a
go
precedent for that.
route or whatever.
Yeah.
If you've linked it in chat and anyone wants to check it out, feel free to do that. And other than that, Troy, we wish you the best of luck and your wife as well with your Threadless and Facebook page.
Good luck, man. Fred Rant,
finally.
$5. Actual question. Which would you recommend? One thick radiator or two thin ones if room not an issue?
I go too thin if room isn't an issue.
Yeah, I would say. You have more surface area. You would have more surface area in general.
I guess it'd be room and cost, because if you're talking about more
Yeah, more
radiators, then
fans.
you're also talking about more fans, so that's an issue to consider as well. But if that's not a concern, then I would go more radiators.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
We have one final donation
Zero
that just
Min,
came
$5. The final bout here. Thanks for all you guys do. First tip, and it just feels right.
Yeah, it does.
Hell yeah, just the tip, baby. Please describe the ideal awesome hardware company Christmas party. Who do you hire for Santa? We hire Jay's 2 cents
Jay
for
would
Santa.
be Santa, yeah.
He's Santa because he's like lovable but also kind of grumpy,
Yeah.
kind of grouchy, like Santa you would imagine would be in a real life scenario. And then we'd host it either at your place or at my place here in the studio maybe.
There'd be a build
we
your
have
own,
a bartender.
There'd be a build your own PC area.
Build your own PC area.
Or just a bunch of computer parts.
But like the host of the build your own PC area would be dressed up like elves.
Elves,
Because they're
yeah, with
building
elves,
like building
yeah.
toys. They're building PCs.
Yep.
And then let's see, there'd be lots of eggnog with alcohol in it, of course.
Open
There'd be,
bar.
like, for sure, open bar. Tons of alcohol, like lots of alcohol, and then more alcohol, and then what else?
All right, call me crazy, and this is very specific to my.
Strippers. I totally one step ahead of you. Go ahead. Yeah, but just build. Just go ahead.
It's not exactly what I was going for, but
Okay. Yeah, I was just joking.
so we like when we would have family over on Christmas Eve every year, and my mom would always go to this local deli and get this like tray of, it's like lunch meats That's not like lunch. It's like nice deli meats and rolls and stuff like that.
Dude.
And then you just
I
make,
like that.
make your little sandwiches. And for some reason, that always became associated with Christmas Eve for me.
Yeah.
And I know it's not typically that like oh that's what you would associate, but just because my history does. So
Yeah.
that's why in my mind,
Hell yeah, deli meats.
that's what everyone would
Ooh.
be eating. Really, you know,
Sounds
nice,
delicious.
nice rolls and you got some pastrami and some roast beef and some
Oh,
turkey.
Oh God, stop it.
I'm hungry now.
I'm so hungry now.
All right.
Hungry.
That's
it.
all for this episode of Awesome Hardware.
That is it. Wait. There's one more donation,
there's one
Jake3D.
more.
$5. No more donations after this. Thank you very much, though, Jake3D. $5. Windows 10, hate you. All you base belong, you MS. Microsoft. Gaming stream on Saturday after Christmas? I don't know. I don't have any immediate plans to stream right after Christmas, but if I do, I will certainly announce it on my Twitter page, as I'm sure Paul will.
That'd be a good way.
Paul Hardware,
That'd be a good
Bitwit Kyle.
alternative
Follow us.
to an Awesome Hardware episode that week. So yeah,
It would.
let me see if I can put that together.
It would. But guys, thank you so much. We are going to end the stream. We appreciate you guys tuning in, as always. Be sure to toss a like on the video if you enjoyed it, if you're watching on YouTube, of course. And if the timestamps aren't input into the comments at this point, please feel free to add timestamps to this stream. I'll definitely give you credit in the description and stuff, and I'll appreciate it a lot.
We love you.
And we love you. We
All
love
right.
you. Have a good day.
If you're watching live right
And-
now, we are going to send you guys off
We're gonna
on
raid the
a
shit.
Twitch raid.
Who are we rating?
There's a brief a paragraph here provided to us by Cell. I'm going to read it off real quick. We are rating twitch.tv/BR4InDead. That's BR
Number four, dead.
INDEAD.
Oh, in dead, yeah.
BR4InDead. This is Dan. He's trying to help his family afford expensive surgery for their friend's family cat, Mufasa. He needs to have his adrenal glands removed to survive. If you can't donate, how about just finger banging that share button? Thank you. That's a note from Cell. So guys, if you're still watching live and you want somewhere to head after we cut off our stream, head over to twitch.tv/BR4INDEAD. Tell him that we sent you.
He has 7
And-
viewers right now.
He's got 7
Let's
viewers.
make it 700.
We're gonna raid the crap
Let's
out of him.
times his viewership by 100 and blow his fucking mind.
And hey, if you
Do
happen
it.
to have a few extra bucks to spare for their friend's family cat Mufasa to get adrenal glands removed, hey, do that.
Why the fuck
do
not?
that too. If we can,
Yeah.
if we can help that poor cat out, I'd be super happy tonight.
Hell yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for watching.
Thanks, man.
We'll be back next week with another episode of Awesome Hardware.
Best show ever.
And
Best tech show on the web.
We love you all. Thanks again, Cell. Thanks to everyone.
Love you, Sal.
Bye, guys.